Hello folks, and welcome back to another edition of BC Renovation Magazine. Today's video is going to be something a little bit different. This is not a product promotion, but I'm going to be showing you how to use this tool here to make a board longer. So if you're interested in seeing how that's done, how I use this tool, stick around. Alright folks, so I've been working away in the old mobile home here, and I just recently finished my closet shelving project. And I did 3 closets, and I put in a lot of shelves. And so I got to the last closet here, down to my last shelf, which was this upper shelf here. And I had one piece of material left out of my shelving stock, and it was too short. It wasn't long enough to go across the span here. So I had a couple of options. Number one is I could go and buy another complete new sheet, another full sheet, just to get this one little shelf out of here. Or I could make the board longer. The piece that I had available to me, I could make it longer to make it fit. And so I'm not sure if you can see this or not, but I'll bring the camera in here. But right here you can see a little seam in the material, and that's where I added on to the end of this board here on the left. I added on this little piece in order to make the shelf long enough to fit in my spot there, in the place there. Now once that's all painted, you won't even see that, but I'm going to show you how I did that using this tool over here, which is it's called a Biscuit Joiner. All right, and this just happens to be a DeWalt. I'm not endorsing the DeWalt product by any means here. It's just the one that I happen to have. And there's lots of different brands. It's the same principle, no matter what brand of tool you use. But the tool itself is a biscuit joiner. So a biscuit joiner is a tool that it's not something that your average do-it-yourselfer is going to have or have access to. Obviously, if you don't have this tool, it's an expensive tool. It's more of a pro-grade tool, so that you use on a job every day. But if you can get your hands on one, and you can maybe rent one or borrow one from somebody, this is a good way to join 2 pieces of material together. And you can see here I've got 2 pieces. I'm going to join these 2 just like I did with that shelf over there. I'm going to show you how I'm going to make one piece out of these 2. But if you don't have access to one of these, well then obviously you're going to have to you're going to have to buy some more material. But material is expensive too, and so we when we're doing this to make money, we try and be as efficient as we can, and these kind of tools actually help us to save money. So I'm gonna get set up here, and then I'll show you how we go about doing this. Okay, so like I said, we've got two pieces of shelving here that we want to join together and make into one. So this is going to be where our joint is, right here. And the way a biscuit joiner works is inside of the tool. The tool, I'm going to show you how this works exactly. But in here is a cutter. And what you do is you put the tool up against the edge of the material, and you push it in, and the cutter comes out of this slot here, and it goes into the edge of the material and cuts a slot. And so I'll just kind of show you how this works here. So when I push on this, you can kind of see that action there, and you can see there where the cutter comes out. All right. And so when you push it into the material like this, that cutter goes in and it cuts a slot. And so what we do with that slot is we do it on each side of the material here. And what that does is it creates a place to put one of these things, which is it's a biscuit. So in here, to join this together, we're going to put 2 biscuits in. Okay, so if you can imagine that cutter, going into the edge of the board, and the cutter makes a round cut like that. Okay, and then same thing on the other piece, it does the same thing, and that gives us a place for this to fit. So I'm going to show you how that works. Once that, and so what we need to do, I've just taken my pencil and just drawn a couple reference lines, so that we have a gauge, we have a guide on the tool here, which is right here. We want to line that up with the pencil line, and before we insert the tool, before we push it in, and what that does is it aligns our slots in both sides of the material. Okay, so I'm going to set up here, and I'll show you how we cut the slots. Okay, so I'm going to put the tool up on the edge here like this. Okay, and I've aligned that notch that I show you that in the tool with the pencil line. Okay, and so now you can see I'm just holding it on the edge here. All right, and I'm going to pull the trigger, and it's going to make the cut. I'll plunge it in, and it'll make the cut. Okay, so you can see the slots are cut there. Do the same thing on the other piece. Okay, so now you can see where we have the slots have been cut, and now the biscuit is going to fit into that slot. Now what that does is it aligns our panel up and down, so that the surface meets on the top, and it also makes a strong joint. So now we will be putting some glue in the slot before we put the biscuit in. We're also going to put glue on the edge here. And then we will, on both sides, so it's going to get glue and glue, all over. And then we will put the panel together, and then we'll clamp it and let it set to dry. Now these, we use a water-based glue, and so the glue that I use is this. It's a water-based glue. It's wood glue. This is the type of glue that I like to use. And the material in the biscuits is such that when it gets the moisture from the glue, it actually starts to expand. So because it expands and swells in the slot there, it also helps to clamp the thing together. All right, so I'm going to get set up here now to glue it and clamp it. All right, so I've got my clamps set up here, ready to make my joint. So again, we've got the slots in each board, okay, and we know that they line up because we've centered them up on those pencil marks that we made there previously as a reference mark. And so now those biscuits are going to get inserted into those slots, and this is all going to get glued. Now the clamps that I'm using here, these are what's called pipe clamps, and these are something really handy to have. It's for clamping. You can get different sizes. These are kind of smaller ones. I've got some really big ones. They're called a brand that's familiar to a lot of people is the Pony clamps, and so these aren't the Pony ones, but the Pony is the brand name that is a good. I'm not promoting Pony clamps, but the pipe clamp is a really neat, very strong clamp. And the way it works is that you have this tail piece here, which is a clamp, and it slides on the pipe to open up to whatever space you need there for whatever you're working on. And then when you're in the position, you can see this little thing here. This is the lever that releases it, so it slides. Once you're in position, then there's little teeth on there that bite into the clamp, into the pipe, and then you can as you put force on it here, you screw the clamp together, and it presses your work together, and makes your joint tight. So the pipe, you buy the pipe separately from the clamp. So you buy the clamp kit, and then you just buy some plumbing pipe from the hardware store, and it just screws into this end of the clamp, and then you have this part just slides over it. Really handy to have. All right, so I'm going to set up now, and we'll glue this up and put the squeeze on it. Okay, so now I'm getting ready to glue this up, And so I'm just going to put some glue in my, in my slots here. Get some nice glue into each slot. All right, and then I'm going to also run a bead along the edge of the panel. Okay. Then I'm going to take my biscuit and I'm going to insert it into there. All right, just like that. So now you can see how that's going to glue in there. Now I'm going to put this over here and I'm going to put some glue in these slots here. Okay, and just a little bit on the panel itself. All right, I'm going to put this together here. And then I will screw the clamps together and draw the two pieces together. Okay, now I'll come in close on the joint here and show you. You can see how the clamps have drawn it completely tight, and we're even on the top here. It's perfect, and it's because of those biscuits, that keep everything aligned up and down. All right, you can see there. Okay, we've got some squeeze out coming out through the bottom. So now we're just going to let this dry, and then we will just scrape the squeeze out off and give it a light sanding, and that's going to be that'll be completed. So this machine has quite a bit of adjustability to it. You can see we have a protractor scale on here, so we can tilt the head, so we can go to any angle that we want. So we can, if we want to make a 45-degree angle joint, we can do that just by simply loosening this and tilting the head. We can also adjust the height of the cutter. You can see how we've got a track here that the face of this travels on, and so we can, in order to get the biscuit more in the center, here we had thin material, so the material wasn't that thick. If we were joining together something 1.5 inches, then we can make, we can adjust the height of this so that the biscuit cuts in the middle of your material, whatever the depth of the material is. So yeah, pretty handy little tool to have. Like I say, it's kind of expensive, but definitely can save you money in material if you use it enough. So this is a DeWalt. Like I said, doesn't matter the brand. I think they're all pretty good, but mine comes in this little case, this little kit, and then you buy the biscuits in bags like this. And you can get different size biscuits as well. This is a number 10. All right, so here I have some smaller ones. This is a number 0. Okay, and I got some really big ones here. So if you're joining heavier, bigger material, then you'll use a bigger biscuit. So if you can, so I sort of have a small. These are a small, okay, and then this is a medium, and then this is kind of a large. But I use this, I've done a lot of cabinet making, and so I've used it in cabinet making, for building base frames and things like that. I've also used it to make picture frames, for paintings. It works great to reinforce the miter joint on a picture frame, and yeah, it's a really handy thing to have. All right, about 20 minutes later, our glue has set up. And so we've taken it out of the clamps, and now we have, what was 2 pieces of garbage have now become, a serviceable piece of material that we could, put a shelf in somewhere else. And so you just, once you take it out of the clamp, you just sand this down. It just takes care of any little unevenness that there might be there. But like I say, it lines up pretty darn good. But just take some 80 grit paper and just go back and forth with the sanding block you know, just like such. Okay, and yeah, then you're ready for paint. All right, folks, so it was just kind of a fun little video there. Kind of wanted to show you some of the you know, tools and tips that we do as a professional. I'm a professional at this, and so just little tips and techniques. And if you found that interesting, if you found that helpful, give me a thumbs up. I appreciate that. Thanks. Bye-bye.